Pickacard. Strange things people love about you but won't say. Here are your piles, and I'll see what you're reading.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Strange things people love about you but won't say. Pile number 1, you could have an intimidating stare. You could love to observe and know things, and yet just the same, you don't like to be observed. You could make people uncomfortable, but they don't really know why. All of a sudden, they're intrigued as well. It might seem like you like to wear unusual hairstyles or something that has a retro flair to it, a mixture of classic and modern. Join me for your reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1. What strange things do people love about you but won't say? I might shorten the title here. Who knows? But if you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at the very least, something that is encouraging. For those of you guys that are my repeat offenders, you are my people. I am so grateful to you. Thank you so very much. So pile number 1, you have trust your journey. I'm all twist your journey. What would that be? Trust your journey, not twist. And the messenger. Okay. Let's read. I'm trying to read it on camera, so let's see what happens here. Trust the journey you're on. Every experience is a stepping stone towards your destiny. Wow. And open your heart and let the universe send you messages of hope and love. Your concerns are acknowledged and your troubles will find resolution. I love these cards so much. So strange things that people love about you but won't say right off the bat. I'm looking at the color palette right here, and I feel like these people have been able to see you sort of ebb and flow on your journey called life, right? Which would be most of us. But if you look here, I almost feel like these scary little trees are coming over while you're navigating. Which way do I move forward? So it could be that what people love about you, one of the strange things people love about you is potentially that some of you guys are haunted by your past, okay? I know it sounds strange, but that's the title, right? So bear with me. Hear me out. I feel like because you've made such achievements, such progress, and it seems like nothing can stop you, right? That you're definitely on your way up, that you're always putting one foot forward in front of the other. And maybe perhaps these people feel like there's nothing that you cannot overcome, and that might be part of the problem. So the fact that you might feel, or that you might behave, or they intuit some way, somehow, that you have a past that is trying to kind of pull you back makes you more relatable. I don't feel like this is like nefarious, like people like, ooh, good, you know, let's have a setback for pile number 1. Not at all. But I definitely feel like the fact that you have something pulling you towards a past, and maybe they find you reflecting or feeling nostalgic, or having, when you're in conversation, all of a sudden it's like you're tuned in, and then the next minute you're tapped out and you're staring off into space. And people know intuitively that you are maybe reflecting on something from your past, or something that you really haven't discussed with them. And it lends for an era of mystique as well as relatability. Now, people, I feel like, want to know more about this, more of this hand that's reaching towards you. Now, I love the color palettes, right? And I definitely feel like another thing that people love about you is the way that you've been able to really make sense about your life and about your journey, your personal journey, and how you've been able to kind of trust the process. And you might be one of those people that when friends talk to you and they're like, well, what about this option and this option? I just worry that if you pick this, it might not go well for you, right? And I feel like your response would be, you know what, I'm going to trust spirit, or I'm going to trust God, or I'm going to trust higher power or higher self, whatever it is that you believe in order to navigate this. And that you've been through such rough terrain that it's not like you're trying to make it harder on yourself, but you know that you're going to be able to sidestep or pivot and make different moves in order to get out of something if it isn't worthwhile for you. And so I feel like the fact that you have like a deep trust still within your journey, and like an optimism, or I don't know, some people might like think of it as being naive, but I definitely feel like it's more powerful than that. I feel like it's just a deep trust in your journey that really makes people stop and go, wow, that's really cool. And yeah, it's a little bit strange. So then We have here the messenger. Oh, this is fun. Okay. So I definitely feel also, you guys don't hate me, but look, this sun or moon, whatever this is, it looks like a plate, right? And bird on a plate. But anyways, maybe you guys are vegan, vegetarian. I don't know your life. Maybe it might not be so funny, right? But I definitely feel like, oh, well, maybe it's your quirky sense of humor, your perspective. Also the way that you see messages, okay, from spirit. And the number 440 right now on camera, that can have something to do with you. But I'm definitely going to say that the way that you perceive things, the way that you perceive your journey, your past, and the landscape of your life can be really different. And I feel like, you know, when many of you know, I had to bury my familiar, I don't know, 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, actually now. And of course, that was very difficult. And it was really interesting because the very next day I went to open up my car door and I saw, I need to insert it here maybe. I took a video and pictures of this tiny itty bitty little praying mantis and it had its dukes up and it was like, you want to rumble? You want to, you know? And I just thought that was a message from Coco to me. And I thought that was the coolest thing because he was so feisty. I mean, he was not playing. He wouldn't play with me, with you, with nobody. And he had a lot of love. His little tiny itty bitty heart, like we say. But by the same token, he was known to be a fighter of all things, every time. Everything was a battle. Even getting a kiss out of him was a battle. And I definitely feel like that was his little spirit coming across. And I text that to my very Christian, you know, fundamentalist friend. Nothing wrong with that. No shade on that. I have my own history with church and things like that. So anyways, I texted her. But my point is I didn't expect a response that was very positive or optimistic. But she and I are very close. And in fact, that is Coco's grandmother. Technically, she was the one that gave me Coco and his sister. So she was like, oh, that's really, you know, that's really cool, Edmana, and encouraging, but very neutral, right? She went about her day. She finished her shift. And that very evening, she sends me a picture back with a praying mantis on her vehicle. I kid you not. So I'm just going to leave that there. I mean, what are the odds? Okay. Somebody super smart can do the calculations for me, but I am forever convinced that that was Coco letting us both know, hey, you know, I'm still here in energy and spirit. So I think that is the coolest thing. It was such a comfort to me and a confirmation. And I think she was actually blown away by that very thing. So the fact that we both had it on the same day, and she, by the way, lives in Phoenix. I do not. I live in California. So that was kind of odd. Anyways, moving on, 7 minutes into your reading though, but I feel like you have a unique perspective on life, on messages, on maybe even the afterlife. And people love to listen to this about you. They may not completely agree, and that's okay. I definitely feel like, you know, this reminds me of a lot of like paper art. Like ripping paper and then pasting it, overlays and things like that. Maybe you guys got into scrapbooking once upon a time. I did. And, but I definitely feel like there's so many different layers to you that's, you know, another one of the strange things that people love about you but won't say is that you are multifaceted. You're multi-layered. Then nobody can just walk in with certainty and say, oh yeah, pile number 1 is, you know, I'm not going to like this because of that. It's almost like, well, you know, I don't know. Let's see. We think they won't, but they're not surprised if they're like 90% convinced you're not going to like something. And then you have like this big philosophical perspective on it, or you have a backstory to it, or you come up with, you know, this isn't what I believe in, but I can respect it. And this is why. Like you have a lot of insight and a lot of wisdom. And again, I feel like you have that aerial view, okay, of things in general and of life, and a bigger view, and a higher perspective than most. So let me keep it pushing right here. Yeah. Anyways, strange things that people love about you but won't say. The world with Gaia. Okay, so you could be Latina. Latino doesn't make a difference if you aren't. But something about maybe you could do watercolors, or you could like to watch wax flow, or you could do wax readings if you're a reader. And if you're a reader and a supporter, hey, I see you. I'm grateful. Thank you. But I definitely feel like with the world being here, it's like you've put a lot of endings to a lot of different things. And I feel like, again, your perspective is definitely, not definitely, unique. It is different. It's multifaceted. And I feel like people tend to really listen to you. And they're like, I never would have gotten that out of what you just experienced or what you just ended or whatever. Now, it seems to me, this gives me a lot of the Empress vibes, right? And the Empress has been all of the queens at different times. And it feels to me very much like you're very experienced with navigating things, putting an end to things. But to me, the World card is about travel. It is about being multicultural. It is about being experienced in many facets in life that other people would not necessarily think you were in. It's about having hidden skills. I feel like it's also about networking. So strange things that people love about you, but won't say, is maybe even that you walked around like you were literally crowned, like you were royalty, that even though you're very humble, and this is where like the caveat comes in, it's like you're very humble, but you walk around like royalty. What? Yes, it is possible, because I've rubbed elbows with people like that, and I've experienced it for myself. And I definitely feel also that you could be people's peace. And like, they're not going to necessarily say that about you, but strange things people love about you but won't say is that they feel more peaceful. They feel like things are under more control when you're around. And I feel like perhaps because you have traveled long and hard, and I feel like you definitely have a humble spirit, but also that you know how to navigate things that are difficult, and they can take a step back a little bit and kind of rest, but also that you're going to have a unique perspective, a higher perspective, and usually a manner in order to get them unstuck out of their own heads, in order to like navigate their own life, or maybe even put an end to things, or also that you have, you know, a different way of looking at things, that when you put an end to things, you can actually show other people, yeah, this is kind of how you put an end to that, and then this is what happened, and this is why. And they're like, wow, I never would have thought. And you give them like the hope and the optimism and the foresight and the trust maybe in spirit, or a higher being, something higher than simply themselves, than the 3D, right? I definitely feel like I'm one of those that if I had to rely upon the 3D for anything, my soul would have been crushed a long time ago and never ever recovered. So I feel like what people don't really understand, and it's strange that really they love this about you, is that you lend vitality and you lend peace and a certain amount of like security. You're like a security blanket. You are like that one in the friend group people would call on, not necessarily for like advice, or they don't really know why they're calling you. But the minute you arrive, they're like, wow, this is really cool. You're really good for me. I had a friend this morning tell me that. And it was really comforting. It was like an honor. I felt really honored by those words. I was really helping her as well. So anyways, I digress. Pile number 1. If you are liking these kind of readings, please do take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. I am so grateful if you guys have already done so. Also, don't forget to really click that little notification bell where you get notified that you, when I drop further readings, right? So what else do we have right here? We have the 8 of Wands. I have to tell you, the 8 of Wands is one of my all-time favorite cards, and I don't necessarily know why. But the 8 of Wands is about movement. It's about focus. Look at her pumping her arms, and she's like, you know, buff. Maybe you're like a runner, into running, things like that. I know I've channeled that message before, but it seems like there is a ring light behind her. Maybe you're an influencer. And maybe you are marathoning messages, or maybe you are putting things out on the internet in such a fast manner that people try to keep up with you. Also, with the 8 of Wands, this is about messages, a barrage of messages back and forth. And maybe perhaps I feel like people, strange things people love about you but won't say, is that they love interacting with you because you're very quick. You're quick-minded, you're quick-witted, and you have quick solutions. Okay, what else do we have? The Sun. I saw his hair peek out. I couldn't remember what card it was, but we have the Sun. I love the Sun as well. So the Sun is the most optimistic card in the entire deck in the traditional tarot. Let's get closer here. And if you look with this Sun is armed with wisdom. And I feel like that is what you lent to your friend group, to hearing negocios, to business in Spanish, right? Maybe you're bilingual. Maybe you're trilingual. I don't know your life, but I definitely feel like you have a different way of speaking languages that other people can understand. And maybe even if you only speak one language, the way that you formulate your words, the way that you string them together is done in such a manner that it really kind of lends light to their entire situation. It lends light into their life maybe in general. And I feel like they, you know, with the Sun, we feel warmth, we feel comforted, we see growth, we have this optimism that things are growing and so on. Unless you live in Phoenix. Just kidding. That was shade, sorry. But hey, I lived there for a long time. I could say that once in a while. But yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like strange things people admire about you but won't say is the way that you are a ray of sunshine without being like Mr. or Miss Bubbly, like, oh yeah, things are, going great, and it's going to be great. You got this, friend. But that's like my least favorite thing is you got this. I'm like, you got this. That is in no way, shape, or form a form of support, by the way, that you got this. I don't know. Unnerving. But anyways, I definitely feel like you're a different kind of a friend. You're not that you got this friend. You are like, well, let me share with you how I navigated this. And well, I don't know, this comes to mind. It may or may not be of use, or let me just hold space for you, friend. Let me just listen. And maybe perhaps you don't pretend to have all the solutions or all the answers, and people find this strangely comforting. And it makes perfect sense because you allow space and room in order for people to kind of sow their own oats. That sounds weird. I don't know, like kind of purge things in their brain and kind of replant them and see what's going to grow. And they think, wow, like you lent so much of the conversation, and maybe you have, but I feel like it's your aura, it's your spirit, it's your high vibration really that has done all of that, and it just held space while they themselves allow themselves some time to really process some information and come out with some really beautiful information that they themselves could proceed and and execute. So that's my thinking on that. So strange things that people love about you but won't say. Oh, look, I feel like people love you. They have genuine love for you. It's also, see, like the knight is very innocent in a lot of ways. I could get jaded with a cup suit. Listen, don't judge me, but I have a lot of feelings about the cup suit, okay? Because the Page of Cups is like, oh my gosh, and I'm in love, and it's all innocent. That's okay for me. But then you have like the Knight of Cups, and they could be a little bit of a player, kind of like, oh my gosh, and I'm so in love, and I could see us married. And then, oh my gosh, and this ring would be, squirrel, oh my gosh, this one is actually the one for me, and this one, and so on and so forth. But I feel like taking it in the spirit of the reading that we're trying to deliver today, strange things that people love about you is the fact that you are so heart-centered, that you are so soul-centered, so forthright about the way you feel about things. I feel like when you speak, I'm getting a lot of energy in my crown chakra, which is confirmation. When you speak, you definitely speak directly from the heart. You don't speak things in order to make people just for them to feel better. I feel like you are genuine and authentic and real. And people love this about you because honestly, at a lot of times it's going to be words of affirmation. It's going to be things that is emotionally fulfilling to the other person as well. And you freely give that. You freely give that of yourself, pile number one. And we love this because you don't expect anything back. And that is so beautiful in a world where it is so jaded and we're just transactional a lot of times. It can be very depressing, just to be real. So pile number one, your last card right here. Oh yeah. So you're incredibly intelligent. So intelligent. We have the Ace of Swords. Strange things that people love about you but won't say is your intelligence. How you have this ability to provide clarity, wisdom, even solutions. I personally am an option person. I love having options. And so I like to, if I have ideas, I'm like, well, what about this, or this, or, and I don't get offended. I'm like, take whatever you want, leave whatever you want, or, feel free to split them, kind of integrate them, whatever works for you. They're simply just ideas. But I love that. I love being able to do that for myself, for other people. And I definitely feel like that is appreciated. The fact that you are incredibly bright, incredibly to the point. And also with this purple, you have so much wisdom that I don't necessarily feel like it is from the 3D world. Let me say that. I definitely feel like it is spirit-led, spirit-given. It is something that is otherworldly. I feel like your intuition provides a lot of clarity, and you do so with grace, and you do so with beauty, and you do so freely. Again, this hand, it's not like, gimme, here, you can have this, and I'll take that. And even exchange, you're kind of like, here, this is what you need. Here, I got you. That sort of thing. And I love your energy. So let me know what you guys think. I am so grateful to read for you. Until next time, namaste.
Okay.
Hi, friends. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2, strange things that people love about you but won't say. Year Intensity surprises people. Seldom are you neutral about anything. You feel powerfully and deeply about things that most people just don't understand. People might fear you. You have a lot of scorpionic energy. And yet people are definitely intrigued by you. So if this is you, go ahead and join me for your reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at the very least, something that is going to be encouraging to you. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate all of your love and your support, your comments, your donations, and all the things. Pile number 2, strange things that people love about you but won't say. You have no worries. No worries. Uh-oh. And you have serenity. Wow, look at that. Almost looks Capricornian a little bit. I love this because of the art. It's just like paper art. It's so cool. But anyways, breathe in courage. Breathe out worry. Remember, every little thing is going to be all right. All right. So yeah, I'm going to say that maybe perhaps you have an ability to make things look easy. Okay? Things look easy. It's almost like they come too easily. But with the serenity thing, it was flipped over upside down, as you saw. I definitely feel like you have a poker face about you. I feel like you don't allow things to show. You're like, your face and your external world isn't going to necessarily show what it is that you're battling on the inside. Now, I know that a lot of us call those masks or things like that, but I mean, are you really going to be out there going, oh, I've had a rough day and I can't, I mean, no, you're just going to handle your business at work because work is work. And then you're going to come home and deal with whatever it is you have to deal with, right? And I feel like it's a strange thing that people love about you but won't say is that when they find out, not that you don't have peace or that you don't have serenity within you, but that you're like everyone else, that you too have worries, that you have things that, tend to bother you, that tend to play in your mind. Maybe perhaps even like old broken records. And I definitely feel like you are someone that perhaps you've gone through a lot of therapy. Maybe you are even a therapist yourself. And, everybody undergoes therapy if you are a therapist, typically. I've never met anybody who didn't. But I feel like, once again, that relatability. Now, with this here, that reminds me of the Capricorn, like the ram, right? You could have like a really strong, incredible work ethic. And maybe perhaps you cope with worries as like overworking. Because, again, I'm feeling it vibrationally reverse, this card, with the serenity. And if the Capricorn is a hard worker and they are known for, sometimes being stubborn or digging in their heels or, having a set way to do it, but extremely reliable, when it's reversed, and in this case, in tandem, I definitely feel like it's just, okay, you could be like me, you tend to overwork, or maybe you have 2 jobs, maybe you have, a way of dealing with things, your coping skills. I want to air quote because I'm not coping very well. I'm overworking very well. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But, and it's not that you don't do your shadow work and things like that. But I feel like people get really relieved to really understand that you are human as well. Or maybe there's a factor of you very much like Jackie O, like after her husband, got offed, basically. I don't even know why this is coming up. But I picture like all the things she went through, losing her husband, and now she's in the White House, and oh my goodness, and all these things are happening, and she doesn't have her husband, and life is changing, and she realizes that all these people coming in to, quote, support her have a lot more motive than just support, right? And so a lot of it, she had to really become a chess player overnight. Not that she wasn't skilled before, but that she really had to navigate that quickly and be on her best, with her best thinking cap on, I feel, in order to really navigate this terrain where really it would have been a time for her to kind of crumble or do her own thing or be reclusive. It was a time that she just, I don't know, I feel like she handled it with a lot of grace, even though there's a lot of grief there. So that's just my 2 cents. But strange things that people love about you but won't say again, is the way that people can think, well, I just thought that you had that conquered, or wow, I thought that you, that didn't even bother you. And you're like, well, actually it does. And this is what I do in order to try to overcome it or try to work through my anxiety or, you know, so it makes you a lot more approachable, a lot more humane, a lot more human as well. Let's see where else we're going to go with this. Pile number 2. You have the 5 of Swords. Strange things that people love about you but won't say is that you could be quite the contender. 5 of Swords typically is known to be that one that bobs and weaves, is the one that can be deceitful, is the one that is competitive, that is out to win at all costs. And I definitely feel like some people, strange things that people love about you but won't say, is that if you set your sights on something, you're going to win. That you are somebody who might cover your motive, like your heart, your chest plate is really covered by your arm right here. And I almost take that to mean it's like, well, regardless of what my heart feels in the moment right now, or I'm going to keep this kind of privy to only who it's going to be important to or to myself, whatever the case is. And I'm going to pull out all the stops because this is what I need to win. And this could be, for example, like a single mom or single parent jumping into the fray in order to provide for their children. This could be somebody who all of a sudden gets handed a really crappy hand and they have to figure out how to deal with it. And it's like a massive life event change. So I'm definitely feeling like, because I brought up the Jackie O and then like, you know, a bad hand handed to you is what I'm feeling. And intuitively, I feel like maybe you've been handed a lot of like, I don't know, sour gallons of milk. And it's like, well, you know, here you go. Here's some milk. And you're like, what the hell? What am I going to do with that? But pile number 2, I definitely feel like you have made a lot, and I don't know how you make cheese. I've watched the things or churn butter and things like that. But maybe basically it's like these gallons of milk weren't exactly spoiled. They were on the verge of, and you're like, okay, this is what I can do with it. And you turned it into something. I heard you turned it into commission. So I feel like regardless, if you were handed something like an impossible task by your boss, or you were handed like the worst 2 employees to mentor because they're on their way out the door anyways, or like once upon a time, one of the stores that I managed, I was handed an employee that, you know, got bounced around because nobody wanted to do the ultimate, which is like firing, because it could have been a whole thing of a lawsuit because there was a health issue going on there on top of it at the very end, and nobody dealt with it, you know, in the beginning. So they put her in my store and I was like, yeah, no, thanks. But my boss did not give me a choice. That was like what I had. That was a hand I was dealt with, and I had to deal with it. And I will tell you that while it was something that I originally did not want at all, I mean, why bring fire into my lap, right? I feel like I learned so very much. And it really helped me to really grow and evolve, not only with sympathy, but being at that point where it's like, okay, nobody else wants to deal with it. How am I going to deal with it? And able to, and I'm hearing like, again, in Spanish, like para cumplir, in order to like fulfill a quest or a mission that you have to do because it's your job, this, that, and the other. But then you're acquiring these skills as well that are really going to take you far in life. I don't know. I feel like you've got dealt with some really crappy hands through, I don't know if I don't want to say karma. It could be past life karma, or just people in general that just want to run away from responsibility. Some of you guys can have like speech impediments, because I almost said one away. Crystal wants a one away right now because she can't pronounce a darn thing. But anyways, yeah, so I definitely feel like you're looked at as being very fierce and very proficient at whatever this is, okay? So I hope that those stories kind of like really, I don't know, work for you some way, somehow. Strange things that people love about you but won't say. Pile number 2. If you're liking these kind of readings, do take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you click the little notification bell so that you get notified when I drop further readings. Strange things that people love about you but won't say. Endings. Yeah, this is how you put an end to things, how you decide, all right, this is over. And if you see an ending, you're going to go ahead and navigate it and make sure that you get out as unscathed as possible. So this could be an end of a marriage, end of a friendship, end of whatever situationship. If you're living with someone, if you've got roommates and you really see that the writing clearly is on the wall, you are going to take measures in order to really secure what is yours, lock down what is secure, and make sure that you don't really suffer any repercussions or losses and things like that. So I definitely feel like you have this ability to navigate things again in a calm, cool demeanor. And maybe you don't even give any signs that there's like anything wrong, like you're not popping off with attitudes, your roommate, or you're not filming them, putting it on TikTok. Look at what my roommate did. Or, you know, you're sort of like, all right, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to go. What is the easiest way to do things? And how do I achieve this with the least amount of drama and trauma and issues? Yeah. And so I feel like people have been able to see that, yeah, these ideas just come to you. They come to you and you're like, all right, this is how I'm going to put an end to this. Bam, you execute it. This is how I'm going to put an end to this. Bam, you execute that as well. And I feel like this can blow people's minds. Okay. I mean, look, this could include like if you're in some kind of abusive relationship or things like that. Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of response on my crown chakra again. So for some of you guys, you could have been in abusive relationships. This could have been like mental, emotional, physical, financial. That's an abuse as well, right? People who cross your boundaries, don't respect them. That's abuse as well, as far as I'm concerned. So I definitely feel like however you've chosen to end and navigate things, it has blown their mind. And there's like no going back. There's no, oh, can we make nice? Oh, can we, it's a misunderstanding. I feel like when you see the writing is on the wall, that there's no going back, that there's no improvement, that maybe you have expressed yourself to the upteenth time and it doesn't make a difference, that you've just really made a call and you've executed and you keep it pushing. So I feel like that's something that people really love about you. And yeah, it's a weird thing, but people go, wow, I mean, she has, in Spanish we would say, tiene mucho cojones, tiene mucho pelota, no sé. So, you know, I didn't even think that AI can actually translate Spanish, duh. Hopefully the Spanish AI is not listening, but you get the point where it's like, wow, this person has a lot of gumption, or, you know, they're like really brave in order to do that. It's pretty wild. That's what I get from that. So then we have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, I definitely feel like, look at all the beautiful flowers. So there's something about you that is very, I don't know. I don't want to say like fairy-like, or just very different, very blooming, very free, very earthy. Very fragrant as well. You could smell really good, by the way. People could, I know it sounds weird, but people could really want to sniff you, like stop and smell you. Like you always smell good. Whether you just showered and you think, well, thanks, I just have deodorant on. I know that I've told people things like that when they're like, you smell good, and it's like unwanted attention. Even if I have like a special lotion on or something like that, I'm like, thanks, I showered, you know? So I don't know, you could be very, I don't know, quirky like that, or you could kind of like just bing, bing, you know, unwanted attention. We're not going to go there. Or you have like a funny sense of humor. People don't know how to read it. But with the Ten of Cups right here, it's almost like you are just okay with looking at your emotional fulfillment, and whatever fits the bill there is going to fit the bill. Like you, at this point in your life, I definitely feel, pile number 2, that you are not trying to look to master things, to convince other people, to really drag them with you and say, look, this is the way, this is, you know, a peaceful life is the best kind of a life, and a life where, you know, we're all participating and all throwing our lots and all like sharing ideas and all allowing room for and all respecting each other. This is like the best way to do things. Let's just kind of do that. And I feel like maybe once upon a time you could have like tried these techniques or tactics or these ideas, and you try to drag friends with you who are combative or who are always throwing that, what is that stick? I'm going to call it the cop stick, but it's not. It's like that stick where they throw it in front of the cars and then they pop your wheels if you're like being crazy. And then they put it all over TV and they're like, look, you know, there's a chase on I-5 because it's always I-5 anyways. But, yeah, it's like you've taken people out that are willing to take these sticks. Please put that in the conversation box below if you remember what it is. If you throw that stick and it like pop, 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 pops tires, or it's like this like netted thing where it has like little spikes, it does the same thing. You get the gist of it. And I feel like all the people that you've been able to identify, and there have been many, okay, I feel like they strive to like rob you of your peace, rob you of your sanity, rob you of your emotional fulfillment even. And these people are like addicted to, drama. They're addicted to trauma. They're addicted to fighting and the strife. They love the struggle life, even though they say they don't. They're the type that they run from one struggle relationship into the other, and they never seem to tire from it, you know, and it's just not a good thing. I feel like you're not down for that. So you are right now embracing peace and comfort and emotional fulfillment. And you could have created like a new family, another family, an altered family where you rescue them with people that are like of similar mind, thought, and heart. So not everybody has to be identical, but definitely I feel like in your group, there's going to be nobody that's addicted to drama. I'll tell you that, because you're going to be like, snip, bye, and keep it pushing, right? We've had enough of our fill with that. So also, I definitely feel like for this group, strange things that people love about you but won't say is that you have a very low tolerance for drama. I know that I can watch drama on, I don't know, on like Reels or TikToks or whatever. But then after a while, I'm kind of like, yeah, it just feels gross and I get tired of it. Or other times I look at it and I'm like, I am so glad that that's not me. And then I'm done with it. I don't want it near me. So yeah, strange things that people love about you but won't say, maybe perhaps also your abs or your body or the way that your stance. It's like you have your stance, not only your stance metaphorically against things. You're like, I stand on business, I stand on 10 toes down, or I stand on this hill I stand, but also the way you physically stand, the way maybe it is that you hold your feet, or maybe you kind of like, you know, put your hands on your hips, or like you square up and your back, you know, gets a lot like taller and straighter, whatever. And people like this about you because you're ready to square up. You're like, well, I want peace above all else, but if we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, you know? I mean, what else can I say? So pile number 2. Strange things that people love about you but won't say. Yeah, the Ace of Wands is how you have fire. You have excitement. You have passion. Even here, I'm looking at her red nails, and there's this thing going around, I don't know, social medias of like red nail theory. It is a bunch of nonsense anyways, but it's like, yeah, well, she's got confidence, and she looks the most attractive in red, and whatever. And I'm like, what a bunch of hogwash, I think, my opinion. But red, definitely, they admire your passion and your excitement. And even if you do have red nails and things like that, you know, I feel like it could look good on you. Maybe you do look good, but I feel like it's your inner fire more than anything. When you get feisty, when you get mad, when you get a little bit snarky, people go, ooh, that's kind of scary, but that's kind of hot. I like that about you. I like that you're like a little bit formidable. I like that I get a little bit scared around you. I like that you are too hot for teacher, and like you'll put your pimp hand down, and you're not going to be, you know, easily persuaded or ran over or manipulated, or you're not going to easily be bamboozled by the same things over and over again. You're going to confront it directly. And that is pretty darn exciting. You could have a lot of people actually who have, I want to say you know, they think you're a hottie. They think you're a hottie. You excite them in the best way possible. That's what I'm feeling. So strange things people love about you but won't say, yeah, is how you can get in your feelings, in your feels, and you won't even tell anybody about it. With the 5 of Pentacles right here, maybe you have like financial issues, because the 5 of Pentacles is like, I feel like also like a loss of material wealth and things like that. And this person seems to be like going down, you know, to the basement or something like that. Or maybe it's like the basement is flooded, but some catastrophe has happened right here. And you have this ability to navigate it. And as strict as you are and things like that, that you are still human, that as much as you could be scary and you could scare the daylights out of like 90% of your friend group or whatever, maybe perhaps also the fact that you're very human, and you're like, wow, I just really lost a whole bunch on the stock market, or I invested in this and the profits went to hell, and now what am I going to do? Like you're in a financial crisis, or in a, you know, and then you're going to set aside time, and you could get really dark about it, like a lot of dark thoughts. But I feel like you handle this largely on your own, and people wouldn't even know. You know, you could have experienced like a loss, and people won't necessarily know, except for those people that are really close to you. And people really love this about you, but they won't say. You know, they're like, wow, I didn't even know that. I'm so sorry, you know, that you experienced a loss, or that, you know, somebody, I don't know, something happened and then you got left, you know, with less than your fair share or something like that. So when things do happen, it's like it humanizes you, and it makes you more approachable, not so much like standoffish. but you have a lot of respect at the way that you've navigated things, to the point where people really understand that you're willing to take measures, that you're willing to do for yourself. You're not depending on other people. You're not going to wheel and deal in order to manipulate, connive, bob, and weave in order to get people to rescue out of certain situations. And I feel like that's really respectable. It is an odd thing, but I feel like that relatability really gives people more of a heart of compassion for you. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Much love. Until next time, namaste.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3, strange things that people love about you but won't say. You're very pragmatic, intelligent, a night owl of sorts. People are confused by your straightforwardness and your no-nonsense approach. You're actually very warm by nature, but it's very hidden, that part of you anyways. If this is you, or if this sounds like you, or if it sounds intriguing, join me for your subsequent reading. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at the very least, something that is encouraging. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I am so very grateful to have you. Thank you so very much for your support, all of your comments, all the things. Pile number 3, strange things that people love about thee but won't say. You have faith unyielding, and you have resilience. Wow. Hold on to your faith even when the tides are turning. It's a beacon that tells you everything will be all right. And resilience, rise and embrace the day. Whatever you're facing, remember that resilience lives within you. So, yeah, pile number 3, you are definitely that pile that is known for withstanding a lot of duress, a lot of things that maybe perhaps have been unfair, unjust, unwarranted. I definitely feel like you are the one that you've undertaken those tasks, or you have endured such tasks. I also feel like somebody here teaching their children, this is how generationally it has gone for our people. So you could be of color, you could be indigenous, you could be, whatever the thing is. I definitely feel like you would be teaching your children, you got to watch for this situation, that situation, because in the end, it all comes out in the wash, and it winds up being this problem that our people have faced for like years and years and years, family lineage. Okay. So that is for somebody out here. Now I'm looking at this, and these trees, they look like feathers to me. It's almost like feathers in the form of trees or leaves or something, which I think is kind of cool. And then of course you have this resilience with this crane, or I don't know, this bird flying right towards us. And it's interesting because I feel like I'm hearing like, release the heartbeat. I definitely feel like you are somebody who is not to be trifled with, not to be messed with. If people know anything about you, is that you are feisty, that you will deal with things head on. Even if people make like an innuendo under their breath, I feel like you would be that person that you're going to confront it. And if it's a situation where it involves your kids, I'm like, woo, help anybody who gets involved in that, right? Because we're going to defend our kids no matter what, like above and beyond ourselves. So I definitely feel like people love the fact that if somebody does you wrong, does you dirty, or if there's something unjust, like maybe you stand for like social justice or human rights activist or animal rights activist or whatever it is, I definitely feel like you would be that person that is seen as being incredibly fierce. You could be leading the charge. You could be the one addressing all the situations, and everybody wants to come to you and tell you, well, this was the offense and this happened to me, but nobody wants to pick up any sort of responsibility and say, well, this is my response to that. They want to complain about it, maybe hide behind your skirts. Not that all of you wear skirts, but I think you get the point. So pile number 3, I feel like strange things that people love about thee but won't say is that you are somebody, because metaphorically, what I'm seeing in my brain actually is I'm seeing somebody like a grandmother, like a nana. We don't have to be grandmothers here. Hear me out. Like you know, when they say, well, you're too old to hide behind their skirts and that sort of thing. That was the old saying we said way back in the day. I know y'all are probably looking at me like I'm crazy. But I feel like people do want to hide behind your skirts. And I'm talking grown people. I'm talking like, ooh, I kind of want to dodge. That's kind of scary. But I feel like you are at the forefront of the artillery. You are the big weapon. You are the one that you're going to be the defender of the people, right? And I think that you've been very careful as of late, the way, if people come to you with like an outrage or a grievance that they themselves haven't addressed, I definitely feel like you are that person, that you've learned your lessons, that you don't address things willy-nilly. But if something does set you off, then off you go. And there are a multitude that are willing to stand behind you, but not necessarily voice their expression with you. Okay. And I know that that could be frustrating, but I definitely feel like this is one thing that people love about you, but won't say. It's like they take great comfort that you are willing to go to bat, that you have that fierceness about you, that, you know, devil may care. And it's like, well, I don't care what they think or what they, you know, I don't care who they think they are. They're going to hear it, or that is an injustice and we're going to address it, and we're doing it now. Okay. So that is something that is very commendable about you. And again, very comforting. I feel like to older people and younger people, it doesn't make a difference. I feel like you could be the great protector. Your spouse could feel protected. Your friends could feel very protected. And even people who you don't necessarily like ride with, you know, you're like, they're not my kind of people. But if you find that there's been an injustice done, you could be that person. Yeah. If you find that, because right now I'm looking out into the forest and I see this, like, I don't know, this like figure. I'm hearing like 18th century figure with like some kind of a weapon drawn against me, sort of a thing. And I feel like even from afar, if people want to take like shots at you and things like that, or shots at people around you, and it's uncalled for, I feel like you are going to stand on merit alone, not about that person that they're getting, you know, they're getting, I guess, dressed down, or they're getting addressed in a way that isn't fair or unjust, or they're suffering some kind of social injustice. But it's the fact that anybody would do that to anybody, mankind, not even necessarily that person. So I definitely feel like you could even stand up, even quote, for enemies, for people that, you know, you're like, yeah, they're not my people, but let me tell you what, that ain't right. And I know I've said that before for people that I'm not, you know, I'm not cool like that with, but I'm like, this is a principle and I don't think it's right, and I'm going to tell you it ain't right. So people love this about you, but they're not necessarily going to say it. Pile number 3. Wow. That's kind of what we're talking about right here. This is Two of Swords, and this is really a unique one. It's like, you know, end to end. Very interesting. But the Two of Swords is about having a stalemate situation, traditional tarot. It's about sitting down and weighing things with the heart, but closing your eyes to things around you, and maybe like staying stuck in a place where, you know, maybe you should have like made a move before that, or you know you have to make a decision. And so there could be a lot of emotions, undercurrents that people don't really readily see on the outside. You could be very connected to your feminine divine. You could be connected to people's like motives. And I feel like this could be something that other people actually can sense. It could frighten them, but also it can kind of excite them too. I also heard, like, if you're in the dating world, or that you have this ability to figure out, like, what people's motives are there when they date you, or that when they come around. So, I don't know. That could kind of freak people out in general. Yeah. But anyways, with the stalemate situations, I feel like people, strange thing that people love about you is that you will take an opposition and then you will take a position, right? You're going to determine, well, this is going to be worth my time, energy, blood, sweat, tears. This is what I stand to lose. This is what I stand to gain. Is it even my battle, my fight? Is it a right thing to do? I feel like you're the one that really wrestles with your conscience the most out of all 3 groups. I feel like you could be the one to be like, you know, I know that this is the right thing, and or I don't really care for even these situations. I don't want to get involved, but is it the right thing? Just to kind of turn a blind eye and keep on pushing, doing my own thing. And I feel like you would circle back and go, no, it's not. I'm going to have to say something. I'm going to have to stand up for something, or I'm going to have to be some kind of like advocate or something. Or you need to let people know, yeah, if you need my signature on that, I'm going to sign it because it's the right thing to do. So, and kudos for you, because that's not easy. I'll tell you what, that is definitely not easy. So pile number 3, if you are liking these kind of readings, please do take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, don't forget to click your little notification bell for those that have not done so in order to be notified when I drop further readings. Pile number 3. Well, the 3 of Cups. I remember I was so in love with these cards, and now I'm kind of like, meh, I don't know if I like. They're okay, I guess. Strange things people love about you but won't say is the good times, the times where you can sit, eat, drink, be merry, the times when there's not a lot going on, there's no drama, there's no problems to solve necessarily, but it's just I want to sit outside with you and have a glass of wine. I want to go to a vineyard with you and check out all the grapes and make sure the grapes are crushed in my glass. No. But, yeah, they just want to be able to have a good time with you. This could be going out to eat, drink. This can be going out clubbing, whatever your thing is. But it's spending time together. And I definitely feel like people miss that about you, is the ease of having you energetically around and not being the focal point of this, like, flying kind of terrifying bird. If you've ever been chased by a bird, it could be terrifying. I had a friend who was chased by a bird once, and although for me it was kind of amusing because I wasn't the one being chased. But this bird chased our truck. Like, we got in the truck and it continued chasing my girlfriend. And it was wild. I don't know. It was literally just the wildest thing I'd ever seen, but I couldn't stop laughing like a hyena. So anyways, yeah, but I feel like people really miss the good old times with you. And people think about, like, wow, you know, when maybe used to like to have a little bit more drink than you allow yourself now, or something like that. But it's like people really enjoy that side of you as well. Let's see what else we have. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, wow. So this is about loyalty. This is about how you treat people, how you welcome people like family. You could be like a mother hen bringing, or a father hen. I don't know. Is there such a thing? But anyways, my point is I don't read just for women. I read for men. I've known super protective men as well, which is really nice, by the way. I really appreciate that. There's something to be said about allowing people to be in their receptive energy as far as divine feminines, and people allowing themselves to be in their divine masculine energy as well. So that's something beautiful. That's a side message for somebody. But I'm going to say right here that you are very welcoming, that you are solid, that if somebody in your family, whoever you call family, again, it doesn't have to be blood, you know, it could be a combination thereof. Whoever you take under your wing, whoever you deem, it's like, these are my people, they can count on you. They know that if something goes wrong, that you're there. They know that if they need a pet to be looked after, you're there. They know if they have property to be looked after, you're there. They know that if there's an emergency, they can count on you to go, like, partake and help out, or, you know, do whatever, maybe drop off some meals for the person. Yeah, so I feel like this is a strange thing that people love about you but won't say. They're not going to be like, oh, pile number 3, I'm really so grateful that you're family oriented, or that you're so dependable. But that's what resonates with them. And there's a great comfort in being like salt of the earth, of being somebody that you're like, yeah, I'm very pragmatic. I'm going to go take care of those things. I'm going to go ahead and go and take care of that issue in that situation. I'm going to go and make sure that, you know, this is taken care of to the best of my ability. And you could be one of those things, yeah, one of those people that you could, I don't know, like if you're not familiar with the steps or how it is that they do it, right? You have enough respect for other people's like autonomy, or you want it to make sure they feel comfortable, that you're like, okay, well, what time do you water? How much do you water? You spend an hour watering. Okay, now I get the idea. Or you might go out with them even to water their garden before you agree to take on the task for like 3 weeks or whatever. And so it could be something like that, but people know that if they entrust something with you, that it's going to be safe. Okay. And we love this, and we love this for you. I feel like this also opens up a lot of opportunity for you. And also it lends to a lot of like, because there's like fierceness, and there's like peaceful, I can leave it in your care and not even worry about it. Like, I trust you. I feel like you are incredibly trusted, and people love this about you. Yeah. Your ability to integrate that and how you portray it. I don't even know how that would come across. I feel like it takes a while for people to get to know you, because you could be, you know, with this faith unyielding. It's like you have this like spirituality about you that maybe it might make you be a little bit like out of touch or different from other people around you. But then people that spend enough time around you realize that you are fierce. You're like a defender, but you're also extremely solid. And all of these qualities make you, for yes, very different, but incredibly dependable and very attractive. I'm going to say either male or female doesn't make a difference. So pile number 3, what did I tell you? Did I say attractive? Because we're holding attractive. Strange things people love about thee, but won't say, is your incredible sexiness. You're very attractive. You're very sexy. That we have loyalty right here. You could be riveted. You could be very mysterious as well. You could have a lot of autonomy. At different times, you could appear to be like different people, right? The one where it's like, oh, I have all this faith and I believe and I, all these things. And then it's like, go ahead and test me because I'm resilient. I'm going to get through this. And not only that, but I'm still going to win it. So the fact that you have the ability to pivot or to pull out different facets of your personality kind of shocks people. I feel like also a lot of you guys are actively engaged in psychology. I don't know why it's coming out like that, but actively engaged in maybe psychological pursuits. Maybe you're looking for a degree. Maybe you're attending school. Maybe you're just looking to understand self better or other people. Or maybe you're with a corporate job and they're like, we're going to put you through this, I don't know, scholastic thing so that you could bring it to the table the next time we meet again. Or you can add it to our HR department. It'll be more enriching so we have more of an understanding other than just a paper trail of things on how to fire people. Anyways, but I think you get the point. And I feel like this mixture of like super loyalty, but super like sexy and a little bit of like fierceness warrior about you is very alluring, very attractive. People love that about you. Yeah. And then the 4 of Swords. Yeah. So strange things that people love about you but won't say is the fact that you've experienced heartache before. Maybe perhaps you have spoken about it, or maybe you are currently speaking about it, or maybe it's something that you don't really often speak about it, but people can tell that you've had pain in your heart some way, somehow. And maybe this is why the 2 of Swords, you could be a little bit like appearing indecisive at times because you don't want to make a move in order to like make a bad decision, bad choice. But really it's like you've been through the ringer. You've been through some experiences with relationships, let's say, that have really caused a lot of heartache and heartbreak. And you definitely don't want to like hurt other people, but you also don't want to be the mark that gets hurt either. And so I feel like you take things seriously. With the 4 of Swords, this is about reminiscing or about healing over an old injury. And you could be that person that is like, maybe you're a little bit tender, because I'm hearing tender paw. Isn't that like something? Does that mean something, tender paw? I could be wrong. But maybe it's like if somebody winds up, pushing a button or stepping on a toe they didn't know you had. But I think you're getting the gist of it. It's almost like, oh, I didn't realize that was a tender subject with you, sore subject or something like that. People, when they discover this about you, it's something that really lends, I don't want to say not more credibility, because you have all of those things already, but it's like you're more personable, you're more, and then they're like, wait a minute, you're like, you are all heart after all. And I have a big heart, and shocking, but I tell people, I'm like, you better not tell them. I'll deny it. deny. I'd rather deal with, yeah, I'm a badass or whatever. But I definitely feel like you have both of those. And also, like, somebody could be into like BDSM, or they could be perceived that way, or like be a dom or something like that. Yeah. So that's for somebody here. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about these readings. Until next time, namaste.